Okay, hello, welcome to Keith's Broken Boats. This is the trim ram off of my boat. It's bolted to an Alpha 1 Generation 1 leg which is fitted to the back of my Mercruiser 470 engine. Now there is a special tool that you can use to undo this. See those holes in the end of the cap? It fits in those, and you unwind the cap out of the ram tube. There's threads and oil seals in there, but I haven't got the special tool. So the method I'm going to use is you're going to leave your boat stood for about 16 years. Okay, and what you do is you leave it with the ram fully extended like this, so it's tilted up in the air. Okay, and with that, all the moisture and crap and everything sits on the bottom of this seal, which seizes that ram cap onto the rod. Then get a big bar and unwind the rod with the ram cap seized to it, and it undoes.
How long do you reckon this was laid up?
16 years.
I'll tell you what, you're bloody lucky.
Lucky in what respect?
That it's coming on the car. Let's say as easy as it is.
Now, do you know what I would class as being lucky? Not answering the phone on the day the bloke rang me to say, come and pick it up. Once you've got that all pulled out, get a screwdriver, because there's like a little spring clip in the top of this ram cap. And then there's a little washer. So you just gently prise those out. And then once you've got those out, you can see the seal there. That's a wiper seal. You can see all the aluminium corrosion in it. So you have to dig all that out. So you get a screwdriver in there and just gently go around it and start prising out all. So you can see all the junk and corrosion popping out off the top of that seal. And you keep going around it and you just dig that seal out. And it is tight because it's like got a metal clip in it which holds it in place, so it's like a really tight fit in the rod. And then with the rust on it as well, the corrosion on it, it's in there real hard. So just keep going at it with a little screwdriver, digging out the rubber and everything. And then once you've got that seal to break free, and you can get it and slide it up the rod, it does come out. It is hard. It is hard. It's all in there. You can see all the aluminium corrosion falling out as I'm trying to get this seal out. Once you've got that seal out, slide it all up the rod, dig out as much as the crate. You can see there's loads in there, and that's what's jamming this rod on. So I'm going to fill that full of freon oil there, now that little recess where the seal was, and I'm going to leave it to sit like that. Now inside the rod you've got like a second piston. I'll explain why later, but this is stuck in as well, so I'm going to use some compressed air to get it out.
Get that a bit closer so it doesn't kill somebody. I recommend you don't do this at home.
There it is. That's the second piston. Now I'm going to take the piston that's fixed to the end of the rod off. This is held in place by a bolt. This piston's not just a piston, it's also like a pressure release valve in it. It's all to do with the thing with having two pistons, and like I say, I will explain it all later. But that bolt comes off out the top. Then there's a spring, which is part of like the relief valve that lifts off. Then there's like that piston, secondary that piston will sort of come off as well. It all just slides off. Now you've got that long bolt there, which is what holds the piston in place, with that spring and that washer piece there. This spring that's on the bolt holds the washer there on top of these three ball bearings in the back of the piston. Now I'm going to get the cap off the rod. So I've got a cap screw, which is the same thread as the bolt that holds it in there. I'm going to screw that in the end.
You're going to hit the nut, the bolt.
Yep. Where is it? What? With that special tool. I've got my special tool. I'm going to beat that. And that rod will eventually work its way down. The camera's just fell over. But that rod will beat down through there. You can press it out, but I ain't got a press. So all I've got is a big hammer. And that's what I'm going to be using to take apart a lot of the stuff now, because it's all corroded together. Get a punch to go that last bit. And then the rod drops out. And there it is. There's the rod. There's actually no damage on the rod. It's in pretty good condition. There's no pits or anything, so that's usable. Now, in the nut, you can see all this crud and aluminium corrosion that's sitting in where that wiper seal sits. I'm just digging that out now. This cap isn't scrap because of this. I should clean it all up and it'll go back on, but you can see all the aluminium corrosion in there that's come out. Now also in here are two O-rings, and these O-rings are the seals that seal the oil in the back half of the ram. There's one pinged out. You see the aluminium corrosion on that as well. And then on the inside at the bottom of the cap, there's another one. And there that is. And that one was almost clean. But that's those out. Now all that cap there has got to be cleaned up. There is another O-ring on the outside of it which stops oil coming up out the threads. Now, these are my trim rams in bits. I'm going to try and explain how this relief valve bit works. That bit there is how the piston is inside your trim ram. So when you're going along in your boat, if you hit something with the leg, if that was all a fixed piston, that ram there wouldn't be able to move because you can't compress a liquid, and obviously you've got oil in here inside your ram tube. So what would happen is it'd just be like you'd hit a brick wall with your leg. So you've got to have some way of releasing the oil out of in between there and there to allow that rod to come back up this nut to allow the ram to extend. So what happens is, if I drop that on there, all that is sat like that.
Morning, Keith.
All right, that way round in the piston. As soon as you hit something with your leg, it compresses the oil pressure pushes on the backs of those ball bearings there, which I'm losing, which releases the oil from the back of that piston in between there, allowing the rod to come up the ram like that, leaving this one behind. So that then lets the rod extend when you've hit something. And once you've hit something, obviously now you've got oil in here, which will stop this moving that way, but it'll also stop that moving that way. So you operate your trim into the up position, and that puts oil onto this side of this piston, which then starts to try and push it against there. Right inside here is a little tiny relief hole just there, which goes all the way through to there. It's held in by that little clip there, and that allows the oil to travel through the back of this piston up to the other side of that rod, and that then allows your pistons to come back together as the oil comes through that hole, and then that allows your rod to operate again as normal. I hope that explained it. I'm not a school teacher, but there you go. Okay, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want more. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.